you and Vanilla Ice, so when y'all had that run in, can you give me the backstory? Like what actually happened?
Well, it's funny how I ain't knocking James and I ain't knocking nobody else, but they never was a part of me in Death Row. Number one, that happened right before I was starting Death Row. Matter of fact, the money I got from Vanilla Ice, it laid the foundation to start Death Row. Because I got
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
once I got Andre off of Ruthless, Chalet off of Ruthless, DOC off of Ruthless, dealing with Hutch and Cocaine and all the other producers and artists, everybody depended on that Vanilla Ice money to pay their mortgage, their rent, their car notes, take care of them. And that's what did. So one of my really good friends is a guy named Ron Brown, Inglewood. Ron Brown, the fastest NFL player to ever ran the NFL fastest man race. Played for the Rams, the Raiders. He family still today. So Ron and I was really good friends. Still is. Brothers, basically. So as I'm doing my thing and say I'm going to start this record label and I'm doing all this stuff and getting it together, I had sent the artists out to do some writing for Vanilla Ice. One of the songs was Ice Ice Baby. I'm laying on my mama's couch coming to visit my mother. You've been out all night running around, been at the studio, doing what you do. As I'm laying on her couch, she going to be cooking me something to eat. My mama loved me. You only get one mama, and I still love my mother today. And at the end of the day, they just had these little box, different little songs they play on the TV. And I'm sleeping. I thought I was dreaming because I heard something say, "Dum dum 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 dum." I'm like, damn, I know that's familiar. Well, I heard Ice Ice Baby. I know that's my shit I'm involved in, and had the writer write it. I pop up. I'm wide awake now. I'm nodding my head to it. My mother bringing down some fried chicken and French fries, and I'm putting the ketchup and hot sauce on it. That's the song. So knowing that's the song, they closed the door on us, saying that wasn't our song. So I was like, you know what? Whenever this Vanilla Ice dude comes to the city, I gotta have a conversation with this dude. So
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I know people at the airport, they were like, hey, sure, what's up? So-and-so just got here. So-and-so in town. Vanilla Ice in town, is that right? Somebody say, hey, we're here at the restaurant. So me and Ron Brown go to this restaurant on Santa Monica. We in there eating. We come in there. There's two of us, me and Ron Brown. I speak to him. I tell Vanilla Ice, we got to talk about that Ice Baby and the rest of the songs that you didn't write. So I guess he's looking at us two, and they deep. They're like, well, let's go to the hotel. So let's go. When we get to the hotel, there's so many people with them, we got to ask them what floor they going to get on another elevator. So we all get up on the floor in the room about the same time. Me and Ron Brown walks in. They deep. So they like pounding on their chest like they figure they got the upper hand. So when the door closed, I put the chain on the door. So I think that grabbed their attention. It's two of us, it might be 50 of them, and I'm putting the chain on the door. When it was all said and done, me and Vanilla Ice, we went and talked on the balcony, That balcony was pretty high, because if you spit, I don't even think this wind would take the spit and take it somewhere else before it hit the ground. How the situation was and how the situation went, We had a nice understanding. So I took a napkin and wrote some stuff out. Majority of the contract I did for Death Row, at Death Row, even before Death Row, was handwritten. I'm not a lawyer. So I wrote the breakdown of the publishing and who wrote the song and all that type of stuff. He signed it. Once he signed it, I called upstairs, had somebody come up, gave him the signed signature on the napkin, made some copies of it, and said the rest was history. Actually, in reality, you could say Vanilla Ice contributed to help start Death Row.
Yeah, I actually heard him make that comment in the interview before that it wouldn't be no Death Row, no Chronic, no All Eyes on Me if it wasn't for him.
Out of a lot of lies, there's some truth to some lies. And, I give anybody a cigar. I don't have no ego. But, come on, Vanilla Ice. Reel it back in. I didn't walk to your room and you just say, hey, here's the money, and start Death Row. You was a white boy with a whole bunch of black motherfuckers. And I would say that you had 5 black guys and they called you coach. But that's not the case. You had more 15 guys and, I guess you felt that you were Superman. But at the end of the day, business is business. At the end of the day, he tried to beat black people out their money. At the end of the day, I made sure he didn't beat us out our money. At the end of the day, he is right about one thing. That money did start Death Row. So he got some of it right. A lot of people say a lot of things, but there's some truth in a lot of shit. But that part is true. That started Death Row. That's
So,
why sometimes I get a little upset when somebody say that drug money started Death Row. I got upset if a person lied and said they had something to do with Death Row and they didn't. This is like, when David Kenner and I talked, and Michael Harris talked, he came first with Lydia because she was trying to do a song. She wanted to be a singer. But when I thought I was going to get the Ghetto Boys, because they told me they owned the Ghetto Boys, that's how all this conversation started. Thought we was going to do some Death Row shit. Kenner never gave $1. Mike never gave $1. You can hear Mike's phone calls when he was in prison, borrowing money from people
You have 60 seconds remaining.
for himself, not for Death Row. Matter of fact, there's a guy named Mike Klein you can talk to who pretty much is running Ruthless. David Kenner went to Jerry Heller and Ruthless to have a meeting without me, without my knowledge. And Mike called on the phone, and they told Jerry and Ruthless, and said, hey, we don't have any money, but if you give Suge $5 million and give us $1 million, Suge could give you Trey back, SLA back, and a DOC back. I called and told Jerry, the motherfucker who you talking to don't run shit. He don't run me. And David Kenner's a bitch. I said, so therefore, whatever deal y'all cutting with them, you wasting your motherfucking time. But that's not the only publishing deal they have Death Row. I did a publishing deal for Andre and DOC and got $1 million for that, right? Now, to set the record straight, Dick Griffey and I was real close. Dick was an older brother to me. Dick knew what the fuck he was doing. Dick knew Mike because it was a bitch named Veronica, and she had a sister Mike was messing with one of them. Dick was messing with the other sister. So when I told Dick, I said, hey, man, this dude, David Kenner, the lawyer dude, represent that dude named Mike. Dick said, Michael Harris? And that buster don't got no money. I said, man, I don't know about all that. I'm just telling you what the weird-ass lawyer dude said. Dick said, well, let me talk to him. I'm going to get straight to the point. See if they got money. You know, Dick was one of those motherfuckers for some change. He'd have a motherfucker doing some crazy things for that change if he going to get it, you know. So, Dick, Virgil Robert, Lydia Harris, David Kenner came to Dick's office for a meeting in Solar Building. Dick said, okay, I know your husband. I don't know you, David, but you look like, he told David he looked like one of those dudes from one of those weird shows trying to act like he was Italian with a whole bunch of black paint on his hair. So Dick started laughing, right? So Dick said, y'all want to start getting the music business. You don't need to talk to Suge, no disrespect. That's my little brother. I'm Dick Griffey. I own Solar Records. So he said, how much money y'all got? He said, bring me $5 million. We can do some business. So they looked at each other. They said, we don't got no $5 million. So Dick said, how much you got? A couple of million? We don't got a couple of million. So David says, well, we can get together maybe 350, 400,000. They say $300,000, $350,000. He said, hold up. He said, let me talk to my little bro for a minute. Sure, let me holler at you. We walk outside. He said, man, I thought my cousin Eddie looking motherfucker had some money. He said, I told you that Michael Harris dude don't have no money. I know the bitch. That's why he married the other girl, and the other girl left him. He don't got no money. He went to jail, bro, prison, bro, right? He said, well, look, this is what we're going to do. They don't got enough money to be in the music business.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I said, Dick, you already sold us the studio. He said, well, I'm going to sell it again and get your money back. I started laughing. We go back in the meeting. Dick said, look, y'all basically getting cash money for some illegal motherfuckers, drug dealers, right? David said, yeah. He said, well, look, I usually don't do illegal things. At least I tell you that, the police here. He said, but you come with 300, 350. I really wanted 4. If you got 350, I'll sell you the studio. Then y'all can make y'all money back and look good to the people you got the money from. Because David made it perfectly clear that Michael Harris didn't have the money himself personally, but he's going to get $50,000 from this person, $100,000 from this person. He's going to piece it together. So Dick's okay. You get the money. I'll sell you the studio, and they can flip their money, make some money, and everybody happy. They came back the next day. Me, Dick Griffey, Virgil Roberts, David Kenner, and Lydia Harris. They gave the money to Virgil. Virgil counted the money. He said it's going to be in the studio business. No more, no less. And the crazy thing with all this, when they said I got a default judgment, even though I never got served, and said they had something to do with death row, Virgil was the expert with the trustee to let them know who's lying, who's not lying. And one thing Virgil said was, hey, they didn't put no money in the death row. You give Lydia Harris a Gucci bag with 50 racks, she going to sign and get out the way. But these turned later on because technically it was illegal for Virgil Roberts to be that trustee expert when he did the illegal deal and knew for a fact he only gave Dick some money because Virgil wouldn't count the money, he took the money for the studio. So all these years, all this stuff has been lies. All these years, Mike Linden tried 3 or 4 companies. Never worked. Him and Snoop as partners, even though they didn't technically buy anything, but still never worked. I know this. I did it once. I could do it again. And when I do decide to do it again, I'm going to do it with the younger generation. The girls, smart. You'll hear the name when it's time to hear the name. But it's going to be a label, a situation, not to be saying you got to be on a label. And give you guidance to be your own boss. One thing you can say about me being the owner of Death Row, when I was on the streets and I was doing Death Row, Tony Braxton was signed to LaFace, L.A. Reid, and Babyface. We're not judging what type of men they are behind closed doors. It had nothing to do with it. We're talking about their ability to have a label. They had Tony Braxton. Tony Braxton ended up bankrupt. They had TLC. TLC ended up bankrupt. Pink had to leave. A whole bunch of things we can say. And so did a whole bunch of other artists. But when I was on the streets in control of my own destiny, without nobody interfering with my company, Andre went bankrupt. He became a simple, rich man. And that's because of me. Snoop, he became one of the biggest artists around. And that was because of me. Not only did I make sure he didn't go to prison, he still ain't paying me back for the civil money he owed when they lost. Settled. That's neither here nor there. Gas living like a rich man. Corrupt living like a rich man. Danny Boy. Jewel lived well. The list goes on. Rage. Sam Snead. Jay Flex wrote every song, every hit that Andre pretty much had. These are real people who's real successful. When we went somewhere, I remember one time we in New Orleans and dude hopped off the stage with signed to the face, kicked one of our dancers in the head. You don't think we did what we were supposed to do? I'm going to ask somebody. I remember we in that New Orleans, in that same place. A dude 14 years old whooped Andre's ass. We ended up beating up everybody else. It was a riot. They didn't come in with horses. A lot of people went to jail and had to bail people out. We moved as a family. At that time, I felt that everybody loved each other as a family. That's why the songs came out so good. You got people that say they was on Death Row or they was a part of Death Row, and they wasn't. But the people who started with Death Row, I don't care if it's Andre, I don't care if it's Snoop, I don't care if it's Daz, I don't care if it's Corrupt, Rage, Jewel passed away, Daniel, anybody who ever been on Death Row, me personally, still got love for them and still want them to be successful. Because that's what we supposed to do. No more, no less. Do what's right.
So the whole rumor about you hanging him over a balcony, is there any truth to that or no?
You should know by now I really like fucking with you. Number one, you black. And my blackness come first. Trump black too. Just don't know it yet. The culture vultures, they bring all these guys on their podcast. Next thing you know, all these guys is in MDC or jail or prison somewhere and wonder how it happened. No disrespect. to you. But at the same time, I'm trying to get get out of prison, not get more time in prison. Fair enough. But I put it to you like this. Me and Vanilla Ice, we hung out. Yeah. Some might just hung out a little more than others.